everybody. I've been spending a lot of time at our state capitol, and I feel like since I've been there and been watching and seeing what's going on, I'm kind of like the eyes and the ears, and felt like I should make a video to explain or tell everybody what's going on at our state capitol, or through legislation and in our state in general. And then I'd also like to say, I don't like saying this, but it feels like it's the fight of our life and the warriors aren't showing up for battle. Whew, that felt good to say. But I don't know, it's frustrating because there's so many things happening, and I know so many people care, and we just all need to find our voice and use it and become empowered and not stand up for this shit. Like, seriously, when are we all gonna stand up and refuse to sit down? So if you have like an hour or two extra in your work or in your week, and you can donate that to a cause you care, take it up and donate that time, because that stuff adds up and that matters. Or, I mean, if you have an hour, it took me 1 minute earlier to call my state senator and ask him to vote on SB 145, which I'll get to in a second. So I heard like 4 or 5 legislators say this last week when I was at the Capitol, that their constituents just aren't calling them about stuff, and there's things they know their constituents care about, but they're not getting phone calls. And so when you call the House or Senate switchboard, you don't even have to talk to your legislator. So if you're kind of shy or feel intimidated by talking to them, you shouldn't, because we voted. I don't want to say you shouldn't, but don't, because we voted for them to be there. And even if we didn't vote for them because we didn't vote or whatever, they're in there, and they're supposed to represent us, and they're supposed to represent Arkansas and Arkansans. So, yeah, let's use our voices and tell them how we want them to vote. And then if they don't vote the way we like, let's vote them out. So SB 145 is a solar bill. And Audubon, Arkansas, and then Walmart are working on this bill together. And so what it would do is it would allow third-party leasing in Arkansas. We currently don't have third-party leasing of solar panel. So if you can't afford a solar panel and everything outright, you can lease it. And so it would basically like allow a payment option for solar. And then also, I think currently it's like 150 to 300 kilowatts is like the max you can have. And this will increase that to 1,000. So things like Walmart distribution centers and stores and stuff could now be solar powered, which would be cool. It'd do a little bit for Walmart's footprint, wouldn't it? If only we get rid of those plastic bags, I'm just saying. I don't believe in Project Gigaton until y'all get rid of the plastic bags, Walmart. Anyway, so if you want that to happen for Arkansas, call your senator or your House of Representative and say vote yes on SB 145. And if you feel that way, you should do that today, because I think that vote's coming up, or it might have already happened today. But call and tell them. Some other bills that are going through is SB 115. It was tabled when I was there last week. It was in the Public Health and Welfare Committee. And so it was tabled in the committee, and usually that means that they don't really have their votes lined up, so it's tabled and pushed back, and then they'll vote on it later. And legislators know how they're going to vote before the meetings, is what I've been told. So everybody's been doing, like, they're talking and blah, 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 and they know how they're voting before they get there, which is good. Because I sat through a committee meeting, and they weren't very attentive, and they were on their phone, and that felt like they were being kind of rude to the people testifying. But anyway, SB 145, Senator Ballinger, who's my senator, is proposing that law, and that would provide exemptions to the minimum wage law. So this last ballot initiative, when we all voted, hopefully we did. If you didn't vote, go vote the next voting cycle, please. And I'm saying this, but like I just got involved like the past year, so I understand. But it's still not okay. But so he's trying to make amendments to the minimum wage voting law, and 68% of Arkansans already voted that law in. And the exceptions would be if you work for a nonprofit, if you're under the age of 18 and there's one more, then being paid a minimum wage of $11, I think it's $75, wouldn't apply to you. So I don't think $11.75 is even enough for minimum wage, but that's just me. And then Senator Garner is introducing House Bill SB 2 and SB 3. And so SB 2 is to create the Down Syndrome Discrimination by Abortion Prohibition Act. And I don't know the specific specifics of that one. And then SB3 is to require additional reporting requirements by certain physicians in healthcare facilities for abortion complications. And so there aren't reporting requirements for other surgeries. And so, And also, I sat in and watched this be introduced by Senator Garner, and I just want to say I would be a lot more, like, able to listen, or even, like, maybe have some girth to your bill. That's probably not the right word. But it might be more believable if there's a woman running the bill, or if there was at least one woman up there testifying for this bill. Anyway, that's just how I feel about men trying to pass laws about my reproductive organs that they don't have. Anyway. And he also used his resources were internet resources. So those are some very credible citations, aren't they? And then the cool thing about that, because that was infuriating for me, it might not be for some people, you believe what you want, or think what you want, but was that a bunch of young women in their lab coats got up and testified after him, and they had a letter that they had written about and 50 different medical students had signed that letter, and they read it. And so that was cool to see, and that's what we need more of. We need more people showing up at the Capitol. We need more people calling. We need more people involved with Citizens First Congress or Arkansas Public Policy Panel. And if you don't know who they are, look them up on Facebook. Please, they're amazing. And it's great to be a part of that organization. Also, there is one more bill regarding abortion, and that's SB 145, and that's by Senator Rayford. He's the one filing it. That's what I mean by. And it's to create the Arkansas Human Life Protection Act and to abolish abortion in Arkansas and protect the lives of unborn children. And so if you want him to vote no on that, call him. If you want him to vote yes on that, call him. But that's SB 145. Either way, however you vote or call in, you're not voting, but calling in, I want you to at least do it, please. We need to use our voices. We can't complain about stuff if we're not using our voices. That's just how I feel about it at this point, because I see strands and strands and strands, threads, I think it's technically a thread, but a strand on Facebook of people complaining, but what are you doing about what you're complaining about? That's the key right there. Let's see. So Arkansas is like, I don't know what we are last. We're last on the good list and first on the bad lists. That's a joke, right? Thank God for Louisiana and Mississippi. I have family in those places. Love you guys. But we have bad renter laws. So, if you live somewhere and it doesn't have like running water or electricity, there's nothing you can do legally to make your tenant fix that or pay for that or make it inhabitable to live there. So not only is that a thing, but also if you don't pay your rent in Arkansas, you can go to jail and get a criminal charge. So you can go to jail for living in a place that's not required to have running water. So that's kind of funky. So there's some things coming up about that. I'll let y'all know about the specific bills if you care to know. And then, there's this bill, SB 109, that Missy Irwin is filing. And it's to amend the offense of battery in the first degree. If you interact with the law enforcement and they're injured, you can get a Class Y felony. I wrote Class Y, but I don't know if felonies go in classes of alphabet letters. Somebody tell me if you know. Tell me down there. And so also, if you're in a lockup facility, anybody, so like DHS employees and any staff is considered under this, and this is really concerning about the youth. So if you think about you're young and your frontal cortex isn't developed very well and you're confused and you're pissed off, because who wasn't pissed off when they're a teenager, and you're in jail for whatever reason, and you act back, so say you were hit first and you act back, you can now get a felony. Not cool. So I don't think it's cool, but that's SB 109. House Bill 1016 is for the time period of sealed criminal records. It was 90 days, and that will bring it down to 30. And I wonder if that passed committee. It had passed in the House, and then it was going in the Senate, and that was last Wednesday. So I'm not sure about an update on that. And then some other things happening in Arkansas in general. Dicamba. So dicamba is a pesticide. I went to a forum and or the Environmental Summit in Little Rock, and there was a man on this panel, and he was pro-pesticides because he was a farmer, and he hates dicamba. And he was saying that dicamba was, so pesticides are supposed to go through like testing and like this regulation process for 10 years, and it only took dicamba 3, so 3, 10, it's a lot less years to be, like, see if it's okay for the environment and public health and stuff. So, what was I saying? Dicamba. Oh, 3 years. And so, dicamba is really volatile. It has a high volatility. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but that means that when it's hot, it spreads more. And so, the issue with it is the months that farmers are allowed or told to spray it or can spray it. And the other issue is that it kills bees and native plants. And there are beekeepers, a 3-generation beekeeper business in Jonesboro that's gone out of business because dicamba's killed the bees. And we all know bees are good, right? Because they pollinate the flowers on our food, and we don't have any food without any of the flowers. It's kind of like how the garden thing goes, is that you got flowers, and then the flowers turn into the fruits and vegetables, you know? So there's a meeting on February 20th. I don't know what time in Little Rock, so if you're free and you can come testify or you're passionate about this and can take off work, you should. This 2020 census is coming out, or is happening, 2020. So I didn't know that censi, whatever, were so important, but the census is super pretty. I guess that is the plural too. Anyway, so they're super important, and they're important because a lot of populations aren't accounted for, and you get grant money and like help with stuff based off your population, and if people sometimes in the places that need it the most aren't being accounted for, they're not getting the resources they need. So it's really important that we make sure those people all get count, and so I don't know how we do that, but we should figure it out and we should do it. I talked about stand your ground. Or I didn't talk about stand your ground, so I'll end it on stand your ground and mining of quartz. So there's a stand your ground bill that's being filed by, I don't know who's filing it. Thought it was Rayford, but that might have just been an assumption. But the stand your ground bill is a guns right bill, and in Arkansas we already have what's called the Castle Doctrine, and that means if somebody breaks into your house and then you shoot them, you're not responsible for their injury or death. And so the stand your ground bill would make that so it's extended to public places. So if you have perceived danger or threat, I'm not sure exactly the right wording, then you're not liable for what you do with your gun in that perceived danger or threat, which is really scary. I think that's super scary for minorities especially. And so I'm going to call my legislators and tell them to vote no on that when that's coming up, and I'll let y'all know when it's coming up. Oh, and then mining of quartz. So I'm going to leave it at the mining of quartz. There's all kinds of stuff I can tell you about, but I'm tired of like trying to make this video a bunch of times already. But so I kind of had this hunch or thought about this the other day, like if we get all these minerals or these crystals, I like crystals, and we have to get them by mining, and that's probably bad. And here's a perfect example of this. They're trying to open a quartz mining business on the operation on the Ouachita Trail, which is a protected forest. But in order, and I don't know how many acres it is, but in order to do that, they will have to deforest and then mine. So basically all the biodiversity, trees, everything good about that part of the forest will be stripped away and just be a mining ground. So I like crystals, and I haven't been digging for crystals, but I plan to go do that here in Arkansas sometime soon at Mount Ida. But maybe we shouldn't open any more mining facilities of any sort, because mining's really bad for our water quality, for the trees, for the animals, for the thing that provides us life. So maybe we shouldn't do that. That's all I'm going to talk about on this video. I just felt like I needed to inform my friends and people that might be willing to watch this on the stuff that's happening on the state level in Arkansas. And I just wanted to really encourage everybody to get involved. Call your senator, call your legislator, donate 30 minutes, an hour, ask how you can help a cause, donate $5 to something, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Get involved, educated, and speak up and use your voice, because a couple people aren't going to be able to do it. We need to show out for this stuff, okay? We need to stomp and holler, as you might say in Arkansas. So now you know. What you do with that information is up to you. I can't make you do anything. But I hope you have a good day.